Hello there, welcome to my review of the Rockford Files Season 5, Episode 3, The Jersey Bounce. Written by David Chase, Stephen Cannell and Juanita Bartlett, and directed by William Wyatt. The episode begins with some not-so-subtle hints about who the villains of the week will be, as we get a brief montage of some Jersey kids set up in the house next door to Rocky's, cutting coke and rolling joints while playing loud music. One of them almost runs over a neighbourhood kid, destroying Rocky's garden and mailbox as he goes. Jim comes over as the police are attending the incident, but can't or won't do anything about it. The situation continues into the night, but Jim has arranged to get Rocky out of the way so he can deal with it, which he's planning to do by recording the noise until he sees one of them steal his dad's charcoal and takes a stand. This is such a well-constructed opening, clearly defining the neighbourhoods as more than just youthfully exuberant kids, and Rocky explaining that he wouldn't mind if that's all it was. But these punks make him and the other residents scared, and we see the elements of danger. To reinforce this, when one of the two main goons, Eugene, is talking to the cops, he exudes the kind of punchable cockiness that no one would be enamoured by.
Oh gosh, officer, this man is wrong. I swear my mother's grave.
Continuing into his late-night face-off with Jim.
Hey, what the hell you think you're doing, Sonny Jim?
However, his macho facade crumbles in the face of Jim's actual toughness.
You don't frighten me.
Oh, yes, I do.
And it's a credit to the writers and the performers that they are able to firmly establish the status of these two characters, their mindsets, and Eugene's insecurities in this very brief standoff. Things take a turn for the much worse the next day, when one of the partygoers turns up beaten to death and Eugene and friends point the finger firmly at Jim.
I think I better read you your rights, okay?
He's arrested, and for the first time in the show's history, with Gretchen Corbett no longer appearing in the show, he doesn't have Beth to defend him. Instead, he gets Wade G. Ward, played by our Columbo connection, Sorrel Book, who makes 2 appearances in Columbo, but is of course best known as Boss Hogg in The Dukes of Hazzard. He's no Beth Davenport in so many ways, and his best strategy is to plead guilty.
I'm confident I can negotiate cowing down from murder 1 to murder 2.
To further emphasise Ward's incompetence, that evening Jim gets a call from legal researcher John Cooper, who was mistakenly given Jim's phone number by Ward. And this convinces Jim that he needs to cut Ward out as much as possible, going to visit Cooper.
Hey, Jim Rockford. I think you're the one I spoke to on the phone?
Oh, yeah.
This is our introduction to the replacement Beth for the rest of the series, John Cooper, who can't actually represent Jim in court because he's been disbarred, but can at least coach Ward. We then cut to Eugene and his co-conspirator Mickey, as Eugene continues to act the tough guy, even if it completely dismantles their own accusations.
You hit me, creep. I still got the egg right here.
You told the cops I hit you on the right side of the jaw. That's why the cops wouldn't believe me when I told them about the bruises on the right hand.
And it also doesn't stop them from intimidating Rocky, really cementing them as the villains of the piece.
Leave me alone, you bums. I mean it.
We do find out that the murder victim was in a relationship with the sister of minor gangster Arthur Nodzak, and she has some significant bruises courtesy of the now dead man.
I just can't think why anyone would want to kill Mac. He was really a gentle guy.
We then hit the courts, where Ward manages to chalk up some wins, but mostly losses, as the proceedings are watched over by one of Nodzak's goons, who Jim is sure is actually responsible for the murder and may have contracted Eugene and Mickey to carry out the hit. This is kind of confirmed when Eugene and Mickey tell Nodzak they did it.
It was me and Mickey.
You killed Macamodius.
But not on Nodzak's orders. They did it to get in good with the Hood, which is a big mistake as they've now made Nodzak the prime suspect if Jim is acquitted.
You know, my name came up in court today.
It's a really clever scene that shows the difference between these two wannabes and a real gangster, and further emphasises the difference between real power and stupid vandalism. Meanwhile, Jim and Coop have tracked down a woman Eugene got pregnant, who reveals more about Eugene, which gives Jim the idea that they were working on their own. They get her to call Eugene and set him up, but he reveals he now plans to kill Mickey and pin that on Jim too. As Coop puts it,
Abbott and Costello meet the Godfather.
they catch Eugene trying to off Mickey, and in a final act of indignity, Eugene makes the mistake of making her die for freedom at low tide. There's a certain unevenness in the tone of this episode as it deals with some serious issues, but with some comically inept characters. I think it just about gets away with it, although it's definitely borderline, as Eugene is such an unlikable character that it's hard to enjoy any scenes he's in. I think it would have helped if we'd known a little more about the victim, and how abusive he was to his girlfriend before he died. Also, getting over the departure of Gretchen Corbett is no easy feat after watching her character grow, and her relationship with Jim develop over the last 4 seasons. And it is disappointing that she was cut loose, but the writers work hard to quickly develop Coop as a character, so clearly they must have known it was going to be a struggle for fans to accept a replacement. So they can be commended for that. And thankfully Beth does return in the later TV movies, so she's not out of Jim's life for good. But it definitely hangs over the show going on, and this episode in particular. And you do have to overlook it in order to be fair to the new guy and enjoy the episode on its own merits. On that note, I do think it's a very solid episode that does an incredible job of showing the various power dynamics at play, introducing Coop, as well as telling a good story, that perhaps just needed a little more time to flesh out a few aspects of. But it's still very entertaining in what we get, so for me this is a borderline 4 out of 5, almost a 5. Thank you. Goodbye.